Okay, good afternoon, everybody. This is Matt. I'll be your presenter this afternoon. Uh, Fairly typical summertime weekly briefing. Not a lot to focus on. We're not expecting a lot of opportunity for any widespread severe weather in the upcoming week. Um, First off, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank those of you who have sent in your reports from the scattering of strong to severe storms we've had each afternoon the last several days. It really helps us out a lot. Highlights this week, we will have some scattered thunderstorms again today, and a few storms could be strong. Uh, Not expecting much in the way of severe weather this afternoon, but it's summertime, so it's not impossible that we have some pretty strong winds out of a few of these. A lot of lightning, heavy rain. Thunderstorms become more limited this weekend. Got a weak ridge of high pressure building in. Better coverage of thunderstorms returns as we go into next week, especially by the middle of next week. And thankfully, we have no tropical development expected over the next 5 days in the Atlantic Basin. Currently, we have that stalled cold front, stationary front to our north. Originally, we thought this might sag down into the area, but it looks like it's going to stay north, and then as we roll into the weekend, actually kick back even farther north. Still plenty of moist, unstable air out ahead of it. We've had a good bit of clouds over a large portion of the area today, which has kept thunderstorm activity a little limited so far, but we still have several hours to go as things warm up to get scattered thunderstorms popping up across the area. Looking at the week ahead, you can see that cold front or the stationary front to the north today starts actually moving north as a warm front into the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes by Friday. A new system starts dropping through the plains into the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes as we go into Saturday, well north of us still. But the high pressure ridge over us is not very strong. So while it will limit some of the convective activity each afternoon, it won't suppress it completely. We'll still look at some isolated thunderstorms each afternoon and evening. Into Sunday, that front remains up across the Ohio Valley. By Tuesday, we see it start to sag into the area, and then maybe by Wednesday into the area. And this is where our increasing chances for thunderstorms will come from as we head into the first half and into the middle of next week. Just a quick graphical look at what that means. This is a representation of what we can expect across the far north portion of the state as we go through the next week. You can see high temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, low temperatures in the lower to middle 60s. That's fairly close to average for this time of year. You can see as we go through the end of this week and the weekend, the rain chances are fairly low. And as we start next work week, they start ramping back up, and we have some likely chances for thunderstorms for the middle of the next week. Across North Georgia, this is generally the Atlanta, Athens area, the area south of the mountains. Again, we see temperatures generally in the mid 80s for highs, in the lower 70s, upper 60s for lows. Again, very close to normal for this time of year. Rain chances minimal this weekend, and then start ramping up as we go through the first half of next week. Central Georgia, again, near normal temperatures, mid to upper 80s for highs, lower 70s, mid 70s for lows. Rain chances a little lower through the weekend, but a little higher than North Georgia. And then we see the increasing chances as we head into the middle of next week. Severe weather outlook today. North and central Georgia is in a general thunderstorm area. We do have this marginal risk just off to our northeast and another one just to our south. Um, could not rule out an isolated strong to marginally severe storm across our area as we go into this afternoon. But in general, just some localized storms that could produce wind gusts 40 miles an hour, a little bit stronger, frequent lightning, and maybe some small hail up to about nickel size. Most numerous this afternoon and in the evening, as we typically see in the summer, and that's pretty much for all of our area. Chances are a little lower in the far north. So we head into tomorrow, general thunderstorm prediction across the area. Again, it's summertime. We can have a few storms that do get a little strong in the afternoon, produce some gusty winds, frequent lightning, and some small hail. Again, better chances in the afternoon and evening. And Saturday, we're looking at the same thing, but coverage is going to be much less on Saturday. We're looking at isolated storms on Saturday versus isolated to scattered by tomorrow. For the rest of the period, not as specific out of the Storm Prediction Center, so we're looking at no elevated chance for severe weather as we go Sunday and then Monday through Thursday. Again, nothing to focus any widespread severe threat. But as we get into the middle of next week, especially by Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week, as the upper ridge that builds in over the weekend starts to flatten again, and that weak frontal boundary sags into the area, much better coverage of thunderstorms and at least a slightly better chance for some strong to marginally severe storms. As we mentioned in the opening summary, no tropical cyclone formation expected over the next 5 days in the Atlantic Basin. The storm we had the last couple of days, Dolly, up off of New England, has dissipated into an extratropical system and has continued to move off into the Atlantic. Over the past 24 hours, in general, about 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch in most areas. A few areas saw a 1/2 inch to an inch, and we do see a few very isolated spots that received about 1 to 2 inches, including a nice little stripe of heavy rain out across east central Georgia, where there may have been some very localized 3-inch amounts out near the Savannah River Valley area. Currently, we have no issues on any of our rivers as far as river levels. We're seeing the distribution and the amounts of rainfall that we're not really expecting much in the way of any significant problems on our larger stem rivers. Rainfall forecast for today with any scattered thunderstorms that pop up. Again, generally 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch is going to be a good average for most people. Few spots may see a 1/2 inch to an inch in some heavier storms. With the more isolated nature of the storms as we head into the weekend, you see the average amounts generally 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch at best. Obviously, if you get under a stronger storm, there could be a very localized area that gets more than that. And that continues into Saturday and Sunday. And Monday, we see that front approaching to the north, increasing the rainfall potential to the north. And then as that settles into the area for Tuesday and Wednesday, our rainfall forecast increases some more into that 1/4 to 1/2 inch range each day. Looking a little farther out for the next week, this is for July 2nd through July 8th. Statistically, looking at neither above or normal excess chance for above or normal temperatures. Prediction is fairly close to normal. but we are on the wet side of the excess probabilities. Summarize, we do have the scattered thunderstorm stay. Probably through the weekend, the end of the week and the weekend, this is our better day, our better chance for a few isolated stronger storms. We get the decrease in coverage of thunderstorm activity over the weekend, with coverage returning to more scattered to widespread by the middle of next week.